Welcome back to our current events panel, where we're joined by Brock Stevenson and Hannah Salman Vey as we unpack a lot of the latest headlines. Okay, this one actually caught the attention, I think, even in the United States. And we seem to have an issue with this in Canada, particularly in Ontario, where there's some component or somebody who's employed in some capacity by the education system, usually a biological male who shows up in some kind of costume getup. I remember there was a shop teacher with quite generous prosthetics at one
Mhm,
point. This time, it seems, appears to be a biological male who decided to
mhm.
dress up in this pink, like, mini skirt getup at St. Michael the Archangel School, allegedly in Woodbridge, Ontario. Hannah, do you want to start us off on this?
Yeah, so it was in Woodbridge, Ontario, and it was at St. Michael the Archangel Catholic Elementary School in Woodbridge, which is under the jurisdiction of the York Catholic District School Board. He was a school bus driver dressed up in like a caricatured schoolgirl uniform. Generally speaking, girls in school don't dress up like that, all, Barbie pink and everything like that. And he also had a sign on the bus called the Lolita Line, which comes from a very awful book written in the 1950s about this man who groomed and assaulted a 12-year-old child. So very, very morose. And also to note, Jeffrey Epstein's plane was also dubbed the Lolita Express. So everyone knows what that term means. And parents were severely alarmed when they saw that. I don't even know how long this guy was working as a bus driver dressed up like this, but it went viral on social media with the parents calling him out when he was picking up the kids. It went so viral that the school responded and they said that he is no longer working for them. I don't know if he still works for the bus company, but he is no longer transporting kids from that school. So that is good to see that action was taken. Even in the US, they're talking about it as well. It went quite viral, and I'm glad that parents responded like this. But I mean, to note, he's kind of almost dressing up in drag, if you will, and those types of events are still allowed in schools and also libraries for children like that.
Okay, what is your take on this, Brock? Because I have a lot to say on this matter, but really, the Lolita line? What was he thinking?
It's more than a bit over the top. I think the challenge is in Ontario, unlike other provinces, the Catholic school system is under provincial jurisdiction. They are not independent or private schools. They are Catholic schools within the Ontario public school system. So I think that adds a layer of complication to what typically a more conservative Catholic school might be able to do. Its Catholic district might be more restrained on what it can or can't do about the bus driver that was in a skirt and having a sign that said the Lolita line. I think that's going to be the real challenge. Is although the person is no longer driving a bus full of elementary age children, that this probably isn't the end of this issue.
Well, what I'd like to know is, because I found this whole thing amusing from beginning to end, and I'm even slightly annoyed, and I'll tell you why. Under what jurisdiction was the school board able to remove this bus driver? A, and B, so swiftly. I mean,
Mhm.
there are teachers who cross dress, there are teachers who are transgender. Why is the bus driver being targeted when the curriculum in the school promotes this ideology? That the bus driver is just simply one extension of I don't know, gender identity theory. So why is he getting penalized when literally it's taught just a few meters away from where these parents are complaining in the classrooms where these parents send their children?
That's a very good point, and I'm glad. That's very valid. I'm glad he was fired. Like, I'm hoping things are moving in a more conservative direction. I mean, we even saw in the states, like with Riley Gaines, with her debate with Simone Biles, how that turned, and Simone Biles ended up apologizing to Riley Gaines about, talking about men competing in women's sports. So I think we are seeing a bit of change in this topic, and I'm astonished that bus driver was allowed to work there that long, and I'm glad that the parents stood up, because I mean, why are these people always in these jobs that are with children? It's very concerning.
No, I think this is a bit of don't ask, don't tell, actually. I think the parents were upset because they were confronted with it visually. They
Hmm,
saw it
hmm,
happen in front of
hmm.
their eyes. Whereas when the child's in the classroom, the parents aren't
Hmm.
in the classroom and they have no idea like when the train is going to hit, or they could be taught anything at any point. Again, I find it's almost like a cognitive dissonance. They're so riled up about this bus driver, yet every day you send your child to school where it is part of the curriculum that they will, learn about gender identity theory, which is very
Cross-dressing,
controversial.
cross-dressing, all that stuff. Yeah.
Honestly, if I were this bus driver, I'd file a human rights complaint because I'm sure he's under a protected ground and he should not have been fired.
Well, don't tell him that.
As if he needs me to tell him that. Anyhow, we're going to move on to another topic when we come back in a moment.